Let's be real. If you've been to the grocery store lately, you've probably felt that painful sting at the checkout. You are definitely not alone. So today, we're going to dive into a real-world plan to fight back against those high costs. We're taking on a huge challenge, eating healthy, and I mean really healthy, for just 50 bucks a week. Let's get right into it.
Okay, first things first, let's just stare the problem right in the face. Since 2020, we as American consumers are paying a staggering 23.6% more for our food. Wow. That's not just a little price bump, That's a massive shift that changes how we manage our household budgets. And it's exactly why so many of us are on the hunt for smarter ways to shop.
So that all leads us to the big question, the one we're here to answer. With prices this high, is it even possible for one person to eat a healthy diet for just $50 a week as we look ahead to 2026? I know, it sounds almost impossible, right? Well, stick with me because the answer might actually surprise you. So here's our game plan. First, we'll get a handle on the inflation reality. Then we'll size up the $50 challenge itself. After that, I'll give you a budget blueprint, we'll get into some killer hacks that go way beyond the shopping list, and then we'll check out a digital savings toolkit. And finally, we'll wrap it all up with a final takeaway. All right, first up, the inflation reality. Now, here's something crucial to understand. Not all prices are going up at the same speed. You've got to start thinking of the grocery store as a bifurcated aisle. I know, it's a kind of fancy term, but all it really means is that some prices are shooting up while others are actually coming down. And right there, that's our secret weapon. And check this out. This slide really shows us how to build our strategy. Just look at the USDA's forecast for 2026. Beef? It's predicted to jump by as much as 11.6%. That's mainly because the U.S. cattle herd is the smallest it's been in decades. But then look at the other side of the coin. Egg prices are predicted to plummet by over 22% as the supply chain bounces back from the avian flu. See, this is where we find our edge. So keeping all that in mind, let's talk about our $50 challenge. Is that just some random number we pulled out of a hat, or is it actually a realistic target? Well, let's see how it stacks up against what the government itself thinks is possible. Okay, here it is side by side. The USDA has this thing called the Thrifty Food Plan. It's their most bare bones budget, and it estimates a weekly cost of about $57 for a single adult female. So yeah, our $50 goal is definitely ambitious. It means we have to be about 15% more efficient than the government's baseline. But you know what? With the right strategy, it is absolutely doable. So the big question is, how on earth do we actually do it? Well, this gets us to the very heart of the solution. And it's not about spending your weekends clipping coupons or making super complicated recipes. No, it's about a simple, repeatable, and seriously effective pattern. And here it is. This is the simple formula that our entire plan is built on. Every single meal, every time, is built around these three things: a quality protein, a good source of fiber, and a smart carbohydrate. That's it. This combo makes sure you get meals that are both nutritious and filling. It's easy to remember, and believe me, it works. So using that pattern, here's what a real-world $50 grocery list looks like. Just look at these items. They're all super versatile and cheap. We've got pantry staples like rolled oats and lentils, high-value proteins like eggs and chicken thighs, remember how their prices are moving, and then a smart mix of affordable fresh and frozen produce. This isn't just a random list. It's a carefully chosen toolkit for your whole week. And that brings us to a really important mindset shift. We're all taught that variety is the spice of life, right? But when you're trying to save money and, frankly, mental energy, repetition is your absolute best friend. As the folks at Planet AI put it, having the same breakfast most days isn't a bad thing. It's a feature, not a bug. It simplifies everything. Okay, now that shopping list, it's really just the starting line. The real long-term savings, that comes from changing your habits and starting to think more like a strategist when you walk down that grocery aisle. Let's start by busting a huge myth. This idea that fresh is always best. I mean, it sounds right, but the science doesn't really back it up. Frozen produce, for example, is often picked at its absolute peak ripeness and then flash frozen right away. That locks in nutrients that fresh fruits and veggies can actually lose during their long trip to the store. Plus, they're cheaper, they last way longer, and they help you cut down on food waste. It's a win-win-win. Here are 4 habits that will literally transform your grocery budget. First, learn the sales cycles. Most of your staple items go on sale every 4 to 6 weeks, like clockwork. Second, keep a price book. It can just be a note on your phone to track the real rock-bottom price of things you buy a lot. Third, lean into store brands. The quality is almost identical these days, but the 20 to 25% savings are very, very real. And finally, and this one's huge, always shop your own pantry first before you leave the house. Okay, now let's drag these habits into the 21st century. I want you to start thinking of the price on the shelf as just a friendly suggestion. To really unlock some serious savings, you need a digital toolkit and this awesome strategy that I call the stacking method.
So what is stacking? It just means layering different discounts on the exact same purchase. You start with your store's loyalty app for the basic member price. Then use an app like Flip to make sure you're at the cheapest store for your big ticket items. After you've paid, you scan your receipt into a rebate app like Ibotta to get cash back. And for the ultimate discount, you can use an app like Flashfood to grab stuff that's near its sell-by date for up to 50% off. See? Each step just stacks on top of the last one.
All right, so you've got the list down, you've mastered the apps, but what about the biggest challenge of all? Actually sticking with it. How do you stop yourself from getting bored and just going back to your old, expensive habits? This is all about beating what I call budget burnout. The secret is to keep the basic structure the same, but change up the little details. You can make the same chicken and rice dish feel completely different just by rotating your spices. Give it a Mexican feel one night, Italian the next. Swap your black beans for chickpeas. Try a different frozen veggie blend. And my favorite tip, budget just $1 or $2 for one fun item each week. A new hot sauce, a special fruit, whatever. These little changes make all the difference.
So here's the bottom line. Eating well when you're on a tight budget, it isn't about depriving yourself. It's a skill. It's about changing your mindset from being just a passive consumer to becoming a smart, strategic nutritional economist. That price tag on the shelf, it's just a starting point. The real question is, are you ready to rewrite the receipt?